All right, welcome back to the Hard to Swallow podcast. I'm your host, Zane Foy. I always hope people listen to these in the mornings. I don't know when's a good time to listen to. Let me know. Let me know if you guys are watching this on YouTube. Comment down below what time you guys actually listen to the podcast. And for those of you that don't know, I usually drop this podcast at 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning, and that's Mountain Time. And then I drop it around noon, on YouTube and whatnot. But actually, speaking of, now that we're talking about the content and whatnot, I'm probably going to hold off on the vlogs, just so I can open up more time to work on my aesthetic program and get a lot of that stuff rolling out. Because there's a lot of interesting things that I'm trying to put together, regarding the website, a membership space, a bunch of different videos, and talking about all kinds of stuff, because I really do want to create a phenomenal program, and I want this program to be done by the end of this month. So we're going to put the vlogs on a back burner. I also think that, the topics I talk about in the vlog, this whole Q&A series and whatnot, it's really just an avenue for me to talk about certain concepts and certain perspectives or ideology, philosophies, whatever you want to call it, to get people thinking. Because I say this all the time, but there's so many things that you have so many answers that are just right in front of you, and it takes the right conversation at the right time with the right person to be like, oh, that's what he's talking about. I'm gonna try not to cuss in this episode. That's another thing I'm working on right now. So we're gonna try to hold off on the language as much as I can. But dude, I've written so many topics to talk about. I have 14 different topics I have written down that I really, really, really want to talk about. And I think I'm going to stick to 7. I think 7's a good number. So we'll stick to 7. So I already got 7 written down for the next podcast. I might honestly double up and film 2 podcasts today. And get the next 2 weeks knocked out so I can just grind the entire program. That might be the way to go. That might be the move. I don't know. But we got a lot to talk about today. We've got this concept, your body's like a Ferrari. To every emotional barrier, there's a mechanical solution. We're going to talk about anxiety today. We're going to talk about depression. We're going to talk about your brain. Specifically a certain perspective with the brain that'll change a lot of ways that people look at life. We're going to talk about time. One of the biggest issues people face, especially right now, is this idea of time. You see so many people that are so young, blowing up, reaching these massive levels of success, and it bothers a lot of people. It gets to a lot of people. And then my favorite one today, we're going to save to the very end, which is called dopamine theory. And dopamine theory is been one of the most grounding concepts I think I've ever discovered in my own time. Holy shit, there's a train going by. Hold on. Okay, so this first topic, a lot of people don't understand your body is like a Ferrari, right? Your body is this machine. Everything's got to be greased up, oiled, taking care of all this different stuff in order for you to function in the best way possible. Now, everyone's trying to hit 100 miles per hour, right? Your life is about speed, about success, right? And success is hitting that 100 miles per hour. Now, if you're someone who's driving a Ferrari and you got all the best conditions possible, you get to that 100 miles per hour in the blink of an eye. It's no problem. But if you're somebody who's driving this broken, beat up Honda, and it takes a minute for you to hit 100. And even when you get there, you're like, gosh, I might have to go see a mechanic. I think I just broke something. My tranny's out. Everything's messed up, right? So life, it's the exact same concept. Success is that 100 miles per hour, but you got to make sure you're that Ferrari. You got to make sure that everything's in best condition, tip-top shape. You can't expect yourself to make the best decisions and do the best things when you're driving in a beaten, broken Honda Civic. And then when you do hit 100 and you're in this beat-up Honda Civic, you're exhausted. You're completely drained. You got nothing left. But the people that can figure out how to become a Ferrari, the people that can learn to master their physical health and walk the world in this pristine luxury vehicle, the ones that can hit 100 easily in the blink of an eye, not only do they hit that level of success, but they have room for other things as well. Every time you look at success, you see someone that's gotten there and they look so calm. And for the longest time, I used to think to myself that, man, I wonder what that's like to get to that level of success and feel so calm, so collected. And I thought, is it really just relief? Is it relief? They finally made it to where they want to go, so now they're relaxed, they're satisfied, they're relieved. Is it all this stress has finally fallen off their shoulders because they've reached this certain level of life? I used to think that for the longest time, and then it dawned on me one day, no, they were relaxed and relieved throughout the entire journey, because it wasn't about grind. It wasn't about, pushing everything as far as it could possibly go that got them to that level of success. Because you burn out. People that think that way burn out over and over and over and over again. And sure, maybe there's somebody that goes out and says, yes, I could grind, 15 hours a day, live on 4 hours of sleep, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that's the message. The message is the fact that they were able to reach a certain pinnacle of life, a certain polarity, what do you call it when you're on a graph and the lines connect? What is that called? Why am I blanking right now? Oh my gosh, I'm going to Google it. What is that called? A point on a graph where two lines meet. What is that called? Point of intersection. No, it's the oh my gosh. Equilibrium? Is it equilibrium? Equilibrium point. It is. Ha! No, they're able to reach a level of equilibrium so that success is now balanced. That's what you're trying to find. You're trying to find that level of equilibrium where you can get the most out of life and keep the most mental health, the most physical happiness, the most mental happiness. How can I get the most out of my life while maintaining the best from myself? That is the equilibrium. So the idea, again, if we're trying to get to 100 miles per hour, the idea isn't to create, it's not to push and press every single thing we possibly can to try to get the most out of our fucked up Honda Civic. The idea is trying to develop a machine that runs and gets there easier. It can get to 100 miles per hour. It can get to 100 miles per hour more efficiently. That is the goal. The goal is creating a machine that can get you to that level of success as easily as possible. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. A lot of people right now constantly say they want to grind, they want to get this done, they want to get that done, and blah, blah, blah. And they're so hell-bent on pushing this piece of shit as hard as it can go. At some point in time, you have to take a step back and realize, I'm kind of walking in a piece of shit right now. I should really do something about that. Yes. And that's why I always say, master your physical health. Physical health is mental health. Those two things go hand in hand more than you could possibly believe. Second thing I wanted to talk about today, this is huge. This is so huge. This is one of the most, for me, to each their own, whatever. For me, this is probably one of the most groundbreaking concepts I have tackled this year of 2023, and I'm going to play this for the rest of my life. This is huge. To every emotional barrier, there is a mechanical... What the fuck was that? Music just started playing randomly on my phone. It's a ghost. No, to every emotional barrier, there is a mechanical solution. Huge. Keep that in mind. To every emotional barrier, there is a mechanical solution. So when you're dealing with anxiety and whatnot, you learn to control your breathing. You learn to take cold showers, to develop this blah, blah, blah. Everybody treats an emotion like it's this magic, like it's just a thing that happens. There was actually a question I was asking people the other day was, do you think emotions are something you choose or do they simply happen to you? And I thought, when you're in the situation, when you're in the moment of dealing with anxiety or dealing with depression, finding a way out is extremely hard. Looking and telling your brain, oh, just stop. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You can't just tell it to stop. It doesn't work that way. But what are the physical connections you can tie with anxiety and depression? So with anxiety, my heart rate is beating incredibly fast. My brain is going crazy. I can't concentrate. I'm just, sporadic, bouncing around my thoughts, panicking. Right? What is the physical connection of panic? How can I physically change and go the opposite way? So if my heart's beating extremely fast, control my breathing. Okay? I control my breathing. I can't get my brain to stop overthinking. I'll jump in the shower. I'll take a cold shower. It's hard. It's hard to think about all of your problems when you're freezing your balls off. It's just very hard. You just can't do it. You can't do it. But I always thought to myself, if I could learn to mimic, or instead of trying to attack the emotion, why don't I try to attack the physical response and change the physical response? It was the same thing with motivation, right? Sometimes I didn't have the motivation or the energy to get up and do something, or to get out of bed, or to go work on this. Maybe I don't want to turn on this fucking podcast. I want to just watch TikTok all day, do all these different fucking things. I didn't have the energy to do it. But I thought, what is the physical connection to that? The physical connection is that my heart is slow. My blood pressure is slow. It's everything is slow, lethargic. Ugh, I'm fucking mud. I feel like mud. Instead of just telling myself over and over and over again, get up, stop being a bitch, blah, blah, blah. Fuck, to a certain extent that shit works. But what I really need to do is start battling the physicality behind that emotion. Get my heart rate up. I start doing some crazy breathing shit, bro. Like whatever I can to just hype myself up. I don't have to be motivated to just change the way I breathe in and out. If you can't do that, you're fucked. I'm sorry. When you start changing the way you're breathing, get my heart rate up. I don't have to do anything. Just get my fucking heart rate up. And next thing you know, my heart is just boom, 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 boom. I'm ready to go. I'm like, that's it. That's all. I just needed that 1%. I needed that 1%, that push to just start moving. And that's where I started battling the laziness and the lethargicy. I don't know if that's a word. Lethargicness, whatever. And you start developing this motivation. And it was the same thing with depression. So we go out into the depression, again, to every emotional barrier, there's this mechanical solution, right? So depression, you feel it kind of similar to being lazy and whatnot, is you just feel, you feel broken, you feel dead, you feel lost. Start getting your heart rate up. I start anything to just start pumping blood into my brain. Man, anything at all. And then I get up and I go exercise and I crush the exercise. I go as hard as I possibly can because my body cannot physically feel this and at the same time feel this. I cannot be, putting myself through some physical fucking challenge and also feel down and lazy at the same time. You can't. You just can't. Yeah. This is a topic I'm going to have to dive into, and I'll start developing more stuff as I go, and I am. Every day I wake up with some sort of barrier, and instead of telling myself how can I change the way I think, when it comes to emotions, there's certain patterns there's certain dragons you just cannot conquer, right? But now I got to start thinking outside the box. Okay, I can't just flip a switch in my brain. I can flip a switch in my body. My body is designed to survive. My body is built on a foundation of rules. if I can learn to manipulate those rules, then my body will in turn manipulate my mind. You see? It's hard to manipulate your brain. It is hard to manipulate the way you think. But if I can learn to manipulate my physicality, if I could learn to manipulate the, million-year-old coding in my brain, then on a roundabout outside, thinking outside of the box type of shit, I can actually manipulate the way I feel. So just remember this rule when you are going through something. To every emotional barrier, there is some sort of mechanical solution. I love that one. Anxiety. All right, let's talk about anxiety. So anxiety and cold showers. This is a simple topic. A lot of people deal with anxiety. And I think anxiety stems from like a root childhood of failure, disappointment, a lot of rejection, and it's a voice. It's a voice in the back of your head that's been instilled in you to defend yourself in a sense. If I defend myself from all of these different possibilities, then I can never get hurt. The problem with anxiety is it's that tenfold, right? So it's this defense mechanism that's throwing so much defense into your life that you have zero offense. And so anxiety is almost like a gateway to depression, right? Now, as I said before, dealing with anxiety in the moment, extremely difficult. You can't just get hit with this panic attack and then all of a sudden be like, oh, whoops, time to hit a switch. Fuck, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. But what you can do is start breathing. Slow down your heart rate. Slow down your heart rate and put yourself in a position to only focus on one thing. There was a trick I had learned years ago that I would try every now and then, and it didn't work. I'm going to tell you straight up, it didn't work. Right idea wasn't enough. The anxiety was way too strong for this to actually help me out. But the idea was start counting walls. Count every single wall in a room, or pick a color and start counting every single thing in that room to, basically get your brain to focus on one thing and one thing only. But the problem was you could only do it for so long. And if I'd be there counting for like 5 minutes, and then if I ran out of things to count, it was back in the anxiety. And then you start feeling anxious, like this isn't fucking helping. Because there was no physical response. There was no physical response to simply counting. But when I dealt with the anxiety and I jump in a cold shower, that fucking try to distract yourself from that. That shit is hard. That is hard. I needed something stronger than the anxiety. Something that would attack the survival mechanism in my body. Something my body was genetically designed not to ignore. Right? Anxiety is this idea that we for some reason just simply cannot ignore a certain problem going on. It's kind of this idea of like, take one pain, your finger hurts. Well, if someone fucking broke your arm, I guarantee you stop thinking about your finger, Anxiety is kind of the same thing, but how do we trigger something that's not damaging, right? We're not inflicting pain on ourselves. We're not hurting ourselves. We're not self-sabotaging. How can I find something that triggers this fight or flight and gets me out of the anxiety, right? How can I find something that's more distracting than the anxiety itself? And you jump in a cold shower and you just eat the shower as long as, you know what I mean? You just sit there and you take it, you suffer in the cold water as long as you possibly can. And the health benefits from taking the cold shower not only gets you off of the anxiety, it not only pulls you out of it, but when you've been in there long enough and you get out of the shower, there are so many different chemicals you just fired off in your brain that now not only have you pulled away from the anxiety, but you have the momentum to keep going away from the anxiety. And you develop not only a short-term fix, but a long-term development of genetic temperament and disposition. You start developing your ability to tolerate certain levels of stress and anxiety. And over time, those things that bothered you before no longer bother you now. Cold showers. And it's the same exact thing as I mentioned before. To every emotional barrier, there is a mechanical solution. Some emotions we just cannot overcome through simple thought, pattern, and habit. There are some things that require an actionable defense that can take the physicality and learn to dominate the emotional barrier. Cold showers for anxiety. Our fourth topic was the depression. Okay, so we're looping, but we're getting into these. So the fourth topic was like the idea of depression and exercising. I can't remember where I heard this, but I remember there was a point in my time when I went through an extremely low. I went through a very dark place in my life, and it's something I don't talk about. It's probably something I will never talk about. But I remember I was just everywhere. I was on YouTube, Google. I was looking for any possible answer to just stop feeling so depressed. And, it was on the brink of like suicidal, and it was very bad. It was very bad. I can't remember what I had heard, but it was somebody had said like, next time you feel depressed, go start sprinting. Go outside and just start running as hard as you can. Just start running. And the idea came back to that mechanical solution of you can't just tell yourself not to be depressed. But when you can trigger some sort of survival mechanism, your body has no choice but to change direction. Your body has no choice but to change the way it's looking at something. Your brain and your body can't be, oh, fuck, let's think about this depression, and at the same time be like, holy shit, we got to pump blood or this motherfucker's going to die. You know what I mean? You can't, it's got to choose. And your body is always going to choose life every single time. You got coding in your brain that has been there for millions and millions and millions of years. Next time you feel depressed, you go fucking sprinting. Go crazy. It doesn't have to be sprint. It could be weightlifting. It could be some HIIT routine, whatever. But the idea is throw yourself into this survival mechanism of activity and tell me you still feel depressed. It is hard. It is hard to do both at the same time. Your brain is not wired to handle both emotions at the exact same time. Now, to be fair, let's keep this in mind. It might help in this situation, right? But when you finish that exercise, you have work to do. You now have a problem to focus on and a problem to solve. Okay? However, we can at least alleviate that pain and we can alleviate that depression to give us the, mental clarity to now solve this problem. And I will say this, most problems in your life have less to do with adding something in and more to do with taking something away. Okay? Keep that in mind. And it's much easier to take things away than it is to add things in. Most of the time, we can't add things in because we have so much already on our plate anyways. If you want to add in all these positive characteristics in your life, you got to pull shit off the plate. You got to pull shit out. This is why I always talk about, unfollowing people that distract you, unfollowing people that don't help you. Delete apps on your phone. If I didn't, produce content for YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, if I didn't produce content for these places, I would delete those apps in a heartbeat, in a fucking heartbeat. I still find myself getting distracted on them, and I have to remind myself, stop. My job is to output, not input. Yeah. There's certain topics that are very difficult to address, which is I highly advise you guys to leave me comments and whatnot. Depression is something that is the answer is usually the same. which is the idea that your body and your brain are not in sync. Your body does not feel alive. Your brain is alive, but your body is not alive. But there are certain granular details into each and every person's circumstance that sort of changes the way we attack that problem. So comment down below, DM me, whatever it is. I would love to hear what you're going through and see if I can help you out. The fifth topic I had today was your brain is a tool. This is awesome. I think the world puts itself in too much chaos. We don't give ourselves enough control over every single thing in our life. You have to understand your brain is a tool. So many people think that their brain is just this thing they're born with and it's fucked up. Wires are plugged in the wrong place. Connections are crisscrossed. Your neural pathways are full of fucking toxic bullshit. Your brain is just a tool. It's neuroplastic. Your brain has the ability to change and bend and manipulate and transform into the way you see fit. So when you go through all of these different challenges and all of these different barriers and these personal walls, these blockades, and you feel like you can't get out, you have to understand your brain is still a tool. And if you can teach your brain to work and activate in a certain way, if you can design the tool that it is, then in turn you can change your life. So don't fall into this black hole of this is out of my control, that's out of my control, this helplessness, victim fucking bullshit. Get out of that. Get out of that. Your brain is a tool. Your brain is a tool and you can learn to control it. And so many people have this belief, this deep down toxic fucking belief that everything is decided for them. That they have zero control over this and zero control over that. You can't change this. You can't change that. It is what it is type of fucking mentality. If you want to live and die in that kind of mentality, go for it. But you have to be some fucking idiot to see millions and millions and millions of people with the polar opposite belief do amazing things with their life, and you want to sit there and tell me that everything is just how it is. How that's like being a fucking flat earther. Okay, so I forgot to hit the fucking record button on the camera. Whatever. I didn't realize we had hit the 30 minutes already. That's incredible. You cannot sit there and tell me that after everything you're going through and so many people play this victim card of life happens to me. I'm out of control. I don't have the ability to change this. I can't change that. It is what it is. You cannot sit there and tell me that is truly the way you think when there are millions and millions and millions of fucking people who think the polar opposite you do that actually change their life. You're going to tell me that this person just got lucky, that this person just got lucky. If your whole idea is that all of these fucking people got lucky, then it must be some lucky fucking world, and you just happen to be on the bottom of the barrel. I don't know what that is, but I just refuse to believe that way. I refuse. Because it's pretty fucking obvious that the people that win don't think the way you do, and the people that lose think that they are out of control. It's a fucking pattern. It's not you're telling, like, if it really was luck and if life was all luck based, there wouldn't be this significant fucking pattern between people who believe they are in control and people who believe they are not. I say this with all the love in my heart, but there is a point in time when you're going to have to look in the mirror and be like, okay, it's time to stop being a bitch. I say this with love because I want every single one of you to change your life. But there comes a point in time where I could give you all the advice of the world. I could give you every single tool you possibly need. But at some point in time, you're going to have to just stop being a bitch. There's this oh fuck moment that hits every single one of us. And it's the moment of fuck, dude. I'm kind of just a bitch. And you got to just get out of it. You got to just get out of it. Living like your life is already spoken for is no way to live life. What a boring, sad way to live life. And you fall into this pit of, it baffles me how some people choose to live that way. And they will scream at the top of their lungs, I wish it was different. I wish life wasn't like this. I wish things were better. But this is just my life. This is how it is. I was just born to endure. I was born to suffer. Oh, that's unbelievable. I always wonder what it would be like. I want them to have that feeling of what if someday, where they wake up and they go, what if I decided to start thinking differently? What if? And so many are like, I've tried. What if you tried a little bit longer? What if you tried just a little bit harder? What if you gave up right before everything was going to change? That is why I will never stop. Because that fear of giving up right before the whole life, giving up right before my entire life changes, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine dying and meeting God, and God says you were this close, and you just fucking stopped. Never be me. Running out of time. I think a lot of people get stressed out when it comes to life and success because they feel like they're running out of time. I don't know where that comes from. Where is this fucking, who's in charge of this clock, right? I got to get married before I'm 30. I gotta get the fucking my dream job by 25. I gotta have this and have this and have this and have this by some sort of fucking age. Why? I think most people, their stress comes from this make-believe falsehood of time. How many times have you made certain decisions that just really, if you thought about it, made zero fucking sense at all? Where is the logic behind the time? Where? And people come up with these bullshit fucking excuses. Like, I don't want to be an old mom. I don't want to be 50 years old when my kid's in fucking college and blah, blah. Why? I want to be the hot mom. Okay, there it is. There's the fucking problem. So someone else's judgment 20 years down the line is forcing you to stress out and make all of these irrational decisions right now. Cool. Great. Glad we're on the same page. Fuck time, bro. Sometimes you don't have to make decisions at all. Sometimes you can just sit there. Because if shit works, it works. And everyone's on a different clock, man. You don't have every single fucking similarity as somebody else. You don't have the exact same life as them. What do you mean? Why are you on the same clock as them? Everyone puts themselves on the same sort of clock when shit's got to get done. Why? Why? Some people need to speed up. Some people need to slow down. That's the way it is. And there's no sense of human quality behind it. There's no sense of performance, right? You can't judge your performance. This is why you can't compare yourselves to others, because everyone has so many minute details that have transformed the way they think and created who they are that you can't compare yourself to somebody else. They don't have the same life as you. You don't have the same life as them. So what? They made $1 million by fucking 20 years old. Congratulations. Who gives a fuck? Maybe in your storyline, you don't make $1 million till you're 40. It's not about living their life. It's about living yours. Stop running on their fucking operation. Stop believing everything everyone else believes. What does that come from? Where is that? Stop. It's you, yourself. That's it. That's it. It's me, myself, and I versus me, myself, and I. That's it. That's it. Everything else is a gift. Everything else is a gift. Get off the fucking clocks, dude. Get off of it. I don't get where that comes from. I really don't. I think it's instilled in us when we're kids. So much shit is instilled in us when we're children and we're growing up. Because there's these subconscious patterns that our brain just goes, oh, fuck, okay. That's what we do. It's the same thing as learning your first language. You just start doing it. All right, you don't have to wake up and go, oh, all right, so let's practice our ABCs. No. You just started learning how to talk. That's the way your brain is. Your brain's designed to just adopt these certain behaviors because the person you're adopting the behavior from is still alive and breathing, so it must work. You have to understand our brains are instruments of survival. They're not instruments of success. They're instruments of survival. So not everything you learn is designed to be successful. Some of it's just there so you still survive. Whether that's surviving on the fucking bottom of the barrel or at the top of the food chain, your brain doesn't know. Your brain doesn't know. It just knows you're alive. It's better than being dead. You have to make the conscious decisions to start learning things that actually bring you up to a level of success. Your brain's just there to keep you alive. It's not there to win you $1 million. It's not there to get you your dream car, your dream girl, the greatest possible things you could ever have. Your brain isn't designed to bring you gifts. Your brain's designed to keep you breathing. It's up to you to make the decision to get whatever the fuck you want. That's up to you. That's on you. You got to own that shit. This is the whole idea of time, and I have to have this by this age, or this by this age, or this by this age. When that ideology and I need to read a fucking dictionary. When the focal point of time is based on outsider opinion, an outside belief, it's toxic, it's unhealthy, it's not a good idea. Now, when the focal point of time revolves around you, your life, your goals, your circumstances, when you can create a deadline because it's reasonable for who you are, that's different. But when you have a deadline simply because that was just a number that popped into your head one day, what the fuck is that? What is that? Stop. So many people feel like they're running out of time and they're like, why is 30 years old? Why is 30 old? Why is 40 old? Why is 50 old? Why is 60 old? Why is 70 old? Why is 80 old? No, seriously, answer these questions. Why is it old? Why is 30 running out of time? Why is 40 running out of time? Why is 50 running out of time? Why does it even matter? Because if you think about it, you're in such a rush, and for what? If, let's say, everything goes your way, you get everything you want by the age of 30. You got 50 fucking years? 50 years left, and you haven't even thought about what happens after that? Everything's done. What happens after 50? You think you're just going to retire and just have fun for the rest of your life? It'd take you maybe, 5-10 years to do everything you've wanted, and then what? And then what? No, there's still a hill to climb. There's still something to do. I'm not saying be lazy, but stop rushing yourself because your mom told you you needed to be at a certain point at fucking 25. Who cares? Who cares? You'll get there when you get there. The only thing that fucking matters is, are you still going? That's it. Dopamine theory. I love this one, dude. Dopamine theory is incredible. If you really think about it, everybody, whether you're homeless or you're a billionaire, everybody has the same chemical capacity to feel happy, right? I think of like shiny car syndrome. You always think of having this really nice car is awesome until you have it, and then it's not exciting anymore. the happiness a billionaire gets from, I don't know, making, the happiness somebody get, how do I say this? The happiness a millionaire can get from running a successful business can be the exact same happiness a homeless man gets taking care of his dog. If we're all chasing happiness, why are we always trying to reach a bar we can never get to, right? Why do we always raise the bar of happiness to a point where we can never reach it? It's always chase, 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 and never thank you, thank you, thank you. When you instead of trying to chase these massive dreams that'll make you happy, maybe lower your expectation of being happiness. This is the whole idea behind gratitude. So many people think I just need to be thankful for this. I need to, oh yeah, fucking say thank you, blah blah. Like, I'm not saying you don't need to chase success, but yeah, at a certain point, you got to be fucking thankful for something. What do you mean? This dawned on me the other day. I know it was like a month ago. Fuck, I can't. I need to do more of these podcasts because words are hard. I've never been the kind of person that always wanted glamorous things. I wanted, a certain level of success, but for me, it was more about purpose and less about this or that, whatever. Like if someone gave me $1 million, I don't know what the fuck I'd do with it. I don't know. I'd maybe take a vacation. That's it. That's really like, I don't have this broad idea of what I want to do with it. And that's fine. I think my happiness doesn't come from receiving all of these different things. The milestones, they're great, and you're extremely grateful for it. But the happiness comes from just the act of doing. And I think most people chase this level of happiness like it's the shiny car syndrome of where they want it, and then they get it. And now they're like, well, fuck, what happens next? Now all of a sudden you're depressed and you're sad because you just ended a book. You ended the book and you realized you had no chapters left to write. That was as far as it went. And then you feel lost because now you're like, fuck, the story's ended and I'm still here. So what am I doing? When it really comes down to it, instead of forcing my happiness to reach this bar, why don't I bring the bar down to my happiness? The fucking little things make me happy, man. It's just the little shit. It's dopamine. I don't know. It's dopamine. It's all dopamine. If I just learn to control my level of dopamine, then I can learn to control my level of happiness. And again, that's not saying I'm going to settle, right? Because there's a certain happiness that comes from the drive, and obviously when you work hard enough that you continue to go up in life. But the fact is, we're not working to find success. You're working because the work makes you happy and it gives you a purpose. Success is only a side effect. And when you get that mentality, then you're unstoppable. Nobody can tell you shit. It doesn't fucking matter. It's like if you could do anything for free for the rest of your life, like what would you do? I would say I'd be a motivational speaker. Someone's like, well, what if being a motivational speaker doesn't find success? And it's like, well, if I love to do it, and if I do it for free, what the fuck does success have to do with it? It doesn't matter where I'm successful or not. I'm doing what I love to do, so what the fuck's the difference? That's when you know you're actually doing something you love to do, is when you don't give a fuck if anybody watches. You don't give a fuck if anybody pays attention. You don't care. You do it because you love to do it. And because you love to do it, you do it more than anybody else. And you completely fry the fucking competition. And success just happens to be a side effect from that. And so we wrap all the way back to that original topic of, you see people have reached levels of success and you think, are they satisfied? Are they just relieved? Is the weight of all that work finally off their shoulders? It's like, no, because the weight was never there. They just enjoyed to do it. Granted, there's a level of discipline to it. You know, you don't absolutely love everything you do. But if I had to choose something, this is what it would be. I just need enough discipline to keep doing this. And what happens, happens. I will let my work speak for itself. And success will be the side effect. That's it. Yeah. I think that is all I got for you guys for this episode. Comment down below what your thoughts are. The more I do these episodes, the more I start to gain a bit of understanding on what it is I want to talk about and how I want to talk about it and how to articulate. I tried my best not to cuss so much in this episode, but it will take time to learn how to articulate my thoughts in the best way possible, and I will get there over time. And yeah. Good episode. We got, oh shit, I just completely launched my phone there. We've got a lot more topics to talk about. Let me delete these ones so I know not to repeat them next time. I think in the next episode, I'll kind of shoot these off for you. But the next episode, we're going to talk about heart rate. Life is a weight you learn to carry, the concept of stoicism, chameleon syndrome, and kingship. That's it mentality. I should call it the that's it mentality. The that's it mentality. That's a fun one. Life is like a sine wave. This is one I just fucking dawned on me today, actually. Life is like a sine wave when it comes to challenges and change. And then the cycle of loneliness and technology. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment down below what topics you'd like to talk about, all that sort of stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Deuces.